Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah, let's do this. Let's compare 8 different serum foundations. I'll define that in a minute, that have been released in 2023. Okay, in 2022, it's true, I did a million, or I swear it was in the 40s. I counted at one point, I've forgotten the number. It might have even reached 50 different foundations and different formulas and different types. And I've done that so far this year too. I mean, we had the lovely Makeup Forever powder foundation and such, but really we have been inundated, and I do choose my word there correctly. We have been inundated in 2023 with a new type of foundation that bills itself generally, not all of them, but generally 24-hour wear, lightweight, transfer proof. They often call themselves a serum foundation because they have so many skincare ingredients. And really what I've been saying it is like the makeup chemists make a new development and they kind of pass it along and everyone gets their version of it. And that's true. You'll see in the 8 that we're going to review, all 8 of these have been released in 2023. I know there's been serum foundations in the past, but this is kind of a new breed, all within the past month or so, really, or 2. 8 of them. And I know, unlike me, you're not buying them for review, right? You just want to buy the one for you. So what I've done is I have ranked all 8 of these from my 8th favorite to my #1 top favorite. But that's just my opinion. I'm also going to tell you what you guys say, because I've been asking for feedback. So I'm going to find out what you guys say. I'm going to include ingredients that they have that might be tricky, prices, shade choices, fragrance, no fragrance, SPF, no SPF, all that stuff to try to help make your decision a little bit easier. And you're also going to see this. I'll tell you what those all are on my arm. Yes, outside in the warm California sunshine. That's coming a little later, and I will describe exactly what that is and what you are seeing there. So let's get started. First of all, many of you have asked me specific questions. What is a serum foundation? Well, some of these call themselves a serum foundation. Some of them call themselves a skin tint. Basically, it's a type of foundation that is super thin, meant to be buildable. Although most of you tell me you like these a little bit thinner. We'll talk about that as we go through each brand, but these do tend to look better when applied a bit more sparingly, a bit more, maybe built a little bit. They are meant to kind of soak into the skin and therefore be transfer proof. I am actually wearing the Guerlain right now. They have a lot of skincare ingredients with them. Now, this is nothing new, and some of this is marketing speak. It really is. I can't even put something on my lips now without it having hyaluronic acid and niacinamide. Maybe not for the lips, but you know what I mean. We are used to that. So for them to say it's lightweight, soaks into the skin easily, and contains skincare loving ingredients, they're able to call it a serum foundation. It really just sounds really cool. I don't know if that's what it really is. And many of you have asked me, let's avoid some of the quick questions. Many of you have said to me, can you mix it with your skincare from the morning? Sure. I don't think any of it, in my estimation, you can weigh in below if you disagree. I don't think any of it has so much skincare that it just completely gets rid of your morning routine. I'm sure if you're busy one day, it's better than nothing, but I don't really think it's supposed to eliminate that, but you can disagree with me if you want. And many say to me, okay, if it soaks into the skin, what if there's a barrier? What if you put some sort of a primer on with it? And we'll talk about that too. I will say I put a primer on with the KVD, and it broke apart a little bit, but I am wearing a huge layer of Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Finish right now under I'm looking for it, under the Guerlain version, and it's just fine. I like the little glow that it gives it. So you have to experiment a little bit, and though I have tried these all with a primer and had pretty good results really, and skincare, it's impossible to try it with everything. So we are a community. If you have individual results down below, you let me know. Okay. They all say that they're 24 hours wear, though the Laura Mercier says 12 hours. They all say that they're buildable, and they've all been in 2023. Let me talk about all 8 of them, and I'm going to do them in order from my preference, lowest to highest preference, and then, we'll show them all together. All right, number 8 out of 8 is going to be given, and they're all really nice, by the way. I mean, you know, this is like the top 8. They're all really nice, but some are better than others. I'm giving number 8 to the Saie Glowy Super Skin Hydrobounce. Ooh, they made up a word. Hydrobounce Foundation. This comes in 36 shades. I picked up shade number 10, and it is $40. This is the glowiest of them. They tend to be a little bit more matte. The funny thing, other than this foundation, the funniest thing about these foundations, when you look them up, when you do the research, it says a natural matte, which, you know, or they say matte foundation, natural radiant finish. A natural matte foundation with a radiant finish. How can that be? How can that be? How can that be? How can it be a natural matte with a radiant finish? So they use a lot of marketing speak. This one definitely is the glowiest. This one transfers the most too if you wear a mask, etc., etc. This does have mica, and it has something called sugar-derived squalane. Sugar-derived, okay. Mica, some of you might not like. It doesn't have SPF. It does not have a scent. It is quite glowy and quite pretty. So why is it the last on my list? Because you guys hate this foundation. I thought it was quite pretty. You guys hate it. Here's some adjectives I heard. Crusty, gross, cracks on my skin. I continually heard crusty and cracks on my skin over and over. Guess what? I can't recommend this to you then. I have esteemed, intelligent members of this community who are telling me this cracks on them. They hate it. I have so many people saying they returned it. You guys, I stopped counting. You guys are not liking this. I thought it was lovely on me. Can't recommend it. You know, it's kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk mascara. Love that mascara. Never recommend it because so many of my viewers say it gave them raccoon eyes. So I'm not going to be recommending this. You guys are in droves telling me you returned it. So if you're looking for which one to get, go give it a try if you want. But let me tell you, it's not getting good feedback. Okay, number 7 on my list of 8. Believe it or not, some of you are going to be angry about this, is the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Moisturizing Glow Skin Tint. Healthy Moisturizing Glow Skin Tint. And in the fine print, this one does call itself a serum, but here it's calling it a Healthy Moisturizing Glow. This one is $42, so $2 more than the Saie. By the way, we'll do a little price comparison at the end here. It is comes in 18 shades only. So this one has the smallest shades, but it, you know, and I got the shade Light Beige. So $42, 18 shades, least amount of shades. I think this little guy oxidized. There is much debate in my comment section and elsewhere about the oxidation process with these. Some of you, for instance, when we get to it, we'll talk about it, say that the Guerlain oxidized. One of you said theirs oxidized in the bottle. I found, and I'm going to link all of my reviews of these below, my previous reviews. Look at my Born This Way Too Faced. I'm orange, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Oompa Loompas. I'm orange. So I stay away from this, and I feel this wore the worst. This is just personal experience. It wore away in my tests, and I just find I didn't like it. But in comments, you guys are really liking it. So do what you will with that. This is also our only one that has SPF. It has an SPF 30. Please keep in mind that you will never get all 30 unless you were putting on so much of this, and it looks better in a thin layer, but it's a little extra. It's a combination mineral and chemical sunscreen. On the ingredients, I did see coconut listed, so beware if you are somebody that is coconut averse. If you have issues with coconut, I did see it on the ingredient list. Now, when I look at these ingredients, you guys, sometimes I miss some things. I thought something didn't have a certain type of silicone in it, and one of you said, yeah, it's in there 3 times, Rebecca. You know, but it's called something else, and it's a long chemical name, and I'm an English major and a writer, so sometimes it just goes right over my head. All right, number 6, I gave it to KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. You'll see when I do the swatches, I picked a shade that is far, far too light. It's very brightening though, and I make it work with makeup, but it's a little too light. I really should have exchanged it. This one is $42. I got the shade 27. That's way too light if you are my shade twin. This one comes in 40 shades, which is actually really nice. It says that it's a natural finish, but this is matte as can be and has no worrisome ingredients, no scent, nothing like that, no SPF. SPF. It's a really, really good matte foundation that will last you all day. This one broke up a bit though when I put a primer underneath it right away. It broke up a little bit. This one likes skin to skin contact. It's like a newborn baby. What can I say? Okay, number 5 in my list of 8, moving along at breathtaking speed, is, let me find it here on my table, the Gucci. This is the Gucci 24 hours full coverage luminous matte finish. There we go. Luminous matte. Luminous matte? That doesn't even make any, those are, okay. That's like jumbo shrimp, right? It's an oxymoron. There we go. It's an oxymoron. Luminous Matte Finish Foundation. This is, I think, our most expensive. This is $69. I got the shade 210N, and it is a good match. 210 neutral. 40 shades, which is pretty good. In the ingredients, it does list fragrance towards the middle, and you will smell a burst of it when you open it up to put it on. So those of you that have migraines or allergies, please beware. It does dissipate. It wears beautifully. I think this is a lovely matte foundation. Those of you in really warm, humid climates have been asking me about this one. This is probably my choice even over the KVD. A little bit more expensive, a little bit of fragrance, you know. All of these have something that would make me not recommend it, you know. It's funny because I really like the Saie, but you guys hate it, so it had to be, I mean, hate it. But the Gucci, everybody's really liking, and it's pretty, and they're slowly redeeming themselves in my books after their doorstop paperweight of those big eyeshadow palettes that I hated. Number 4. Now this one, some of you are going to disagree with me. Number 4, I have the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. This is the only one that says it's going to last 12 hours rather than 24. Usually these serum foundations last 24 because it's almost like they stain the skin. I keep referring to this on my Instagram. I have a reel where I left the Gucci on overnight without realizing it, and my skin was completely stained. I could not get it off. So it really does. But this one does say that it dissipates after about 12 hours. None of these transfer. The Saie transfers a little bit, but none of these others do. This one comes in 30 shades. It's $48. I got the 3N one, which ended up being a little too dark. So now I am using the 2N one. I like it a lot. You know, this one is best when worn light. If you really try to build this up a lot, you're not going to like it. And those that have told me they disliked their Laura Mercier generally really wanted more coverage out of it and built it up, which isn't wrong. It says you can do that, but they weren't happy with it. And quite a few people told me they disliked this. Quite a few dry-skinned people told me they disliked this, but the dry-skinned people told me they disliked the Saie also. It almost is like, I hate to tell you, if you have super dry skin, I mean super dry skin, get another foundation. You're not really going to like these. Tell me in comments if you disagree. But if you have super, super dry skin, I don't think it's for you. And I talked about the T-zone. I have a lot of people with combo skin and an oily T-zone, and the rest of the face is normal or dry. Some trouble with that. This doesn't like change. It's almost a fussy little way to find a foundation. I gotta be honest with you, it's best for really normal, slightly dry or slightly oily skin. If you have combo skin or really dry skin, I think you might be unhappy here, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's really how I feel. All right, let's do my top 3 now. Coming in at number 3, I really, really like the Burberry Beyond Wear Perfecting Matte Foundation. Well, I would. I mean, I'm looking for, there we go. I would at $60, you know. It's like I can find the most expensive one. Anyway, this, I bought it in 45 light neutral. I think it's a really, really good match. 24 shades. This one is a tough shade choice. There's only 24. And it does one of those weird things where it has 3 different light neutrals, 3 different mediums, 3 different tan, 3 different, and you have to go, I called them and they were actually really helpful just over the phone even, but they'll look at a photo of you and help you decide if for $60 you want to get it right. This one makes me laugh because this claims it has trench patent technology, you know, like the Burberry trench coat. How cute is that? Look, I get so frustrated with marketing speak, but that's adorable. It says it's like a Burberry trench coat, comfortable and wears well, and, you know, deflects water and humidity and rain. And I don't know, that was actually, high five, that was kind of cute. Little bit of a fragrance here, and it is listed in the ingredients. Not too bad, and it does dissipate. Not much we can do when these perfume houses make makeup because They make perfume usually, so it's always in there. You find that with Chanel and Dior and such too, you know. But I really do like this Burberry. I think it's lovely. Now, my number 2 choice is the one I am wearing today. Now, remember, these are my ranking. You guys might not agree with my ranking. It's why I'm trying to give you the positives and the negatives. This is the Terracotta Le Tint Healthy Glow Foundation from Guerlain. This one is $62. It's our next too expensive one, and it really is one of my favorite. This one comes in 50 shades, which is a nice shade choice. It has less fragrance than the other fragrance ones, but it's there. It's middle to end of the list. I have to tell you 2 things about this, and you're gonna go, why would you put it at number 2 then? I don't know, I like it. Okay, but everyone says this oxidizes. This is the one that I actually had someone saying that the darn thing oxidized in the bottle. Gosh, it doesn't oxidize for me. And look, I mean, if you go back and look at my Too Faced video, I was bright orange. This one doesn't oxidize on me, but many people tell me it does. And I have to admit, unfortunately, alcohol, denatured alcohol, is the 4th ingredient on the list, which means it's high up. Let's talk about denatured alcohol. There are people who panic. This has alcohol in it. It will be drying. Run a mile. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe. Alcohol is put in foundation to help with the dry down, to help it, you know, achieve that pretty look that we see. I will be honest with you, however, if I wear something where alcohol is high on the ingredient list, day after day after day, it does dry me out a little bit. So as much as I want to say it's just in there to help the dry down, I'm going to agree with you. And the fragrance in here does mask that alcohol scent, but I knew it was in there. And my number 1 choice really has it in there. And I knew right away. This one has a fragrance, so it covers it up a little bit. This one has trench technology, like a trench coat. At any rate, it's in there, so just be aware. And my number 1 is going to surprise you. It's a review. I've worked with this for a while, but it's a review I just put out. This is not new, but it counts as new because it's reformulated. This is the new Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. This is $57, so it's getting up there. I bought it in shade 300N, and they will tell you what shade to get based on what you wore in the original. This has 50 shades, which is pretty good, and the redo is basically 24 hours, just like the last one was, but you know, it's more akin to these serum foundations we've been seeing. Ingredients, denatured alcohol is also number 4, and you weren't going to fool me. There's no sort of fragrance in this, so I smelt it right away. It dissipates, but you know, when denatured alcohol is high on the list, you can. It feels like you're going to get a shot or some blood work done, you know, like in a hospital, that fragrance of that kind of rubbing alcohol, so to speak, denatured alcohol in the air. So it is there for dry down, but I think this is the prettiest one. What I really think is cool about the Lancome, and again, all of my reviews of these, if you need more time on each of them, and if you want to see them all applied, all of my reviews are posted down below along with the purchasing links for these. What I really like about this is they put an ingredient in that stops this from going either too orange or too yellow. Thank you, because I do have trouble with that, and I believe it does achieve that. So this is my number 1, but keep in mind the denatured alcohol might bother you. But as I said, if you have really dry skin, these might bother you anyway. All right, I want to go through what wins for the cheapest, what has the least amount of crazy ingredients, all that sort of stuff. But first, that little picture I showed you earlier, let's take my arm outside into the warm California sunshine and go through these. Now, I have to tell you, it's rather embarrassing. A lot of these were shade matched in store. And of course, I try to stay out of the sun, and my arm is a little different than the color of my face, but you will be shocked, even at the ones that were matched in store, at the rainbow array of colors on my arm for one person's foundation match. It's crazy. So let's take a look. Let's go outside into the warm California sunshine. These are numbered in the order that I reviewed them. Number 8 is Saie Glowy Super Skin Hydrobounce Foundation. The one with 7 over it is the Too Faced. I have let these dry a little bit. And then, so they're kind of wet, kind of dry. I got them right in the middle on purpose. Number 6, that super light one on my arm, is the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. 5 is the Gucci 24-hour full coverage luminous matte oxymoron finish foundation. Number 4 is the Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. Number 3, you see that trench technology in the Burberry Beyond Wear Perfecting Matte Foundation. Number 2 is the Guerlain, which I'm also wearing right now, the Terracotta Le Tint Healthy Glow. And number 1, all the way closest to my wrist, is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear. That is reformulated, but we will count it as new because it is pretty much just like all these other serum foundations. What is the cheapest? If you just kind of want to try this, seems to be a little bit of a trend, probably a trend that's not going away. But if you want to try this, the cheapest is Saie, but it's also the most hated. So maybe the Too Faced, a lot of people like it. I don't know why I don't love it, but the Saie, I don't know. I like the Saie, but boy, is it getting a lot of flack. The most expensive was our Gucci at $69. The best one that has no crazy ingredients, let's say you hate SPF, you hate fragrance, you hate denatured alcohol, then you can pretty much safely go with the Mercier. That really doesn't have any goofy ingredients with it. The best with skincare first. The best with skincare, pretty much all of them. The KVD and the Gucci are the most matte, so they're the ones that are going to break up the most if you put any sort of a shiny primer or a lot of skincare that you don't let soak in. If you let everything soak in and chill out for a little bit, if you have time, even the Gucci and the KVD are fine with that. But if you need to put it on right away and get out the door, the Gucci and the KVD might give you some trouble, but you can let us know below. And now, if you want to build these up, I told you earlier that a lot of people are saying these type of foundations are best when they are put on sparingly, and I agree. If you need medium to full coverage, there are 2 here that will do that for you. All of them will work lightweight, but if you want to build up and get a lot more coverage, the Lancome and the Guerlain will build the most beautifully into an almost pretty much full coverage foundation without getting messy on you, without breaking up or being uncomfortable. Again, everyone with combo skin has complaints around the T-zone for me. Off and on, depending on it. Mercier and Saie are getting the most flack. I thought the Gucci and the KVD would, but they don't. And like I said, I am wearing a whole big layer of Hollywood Flawless Filter under the Guerlain, and I'm not having any sort of trouble with that. So these are my kind of thoughts and takes on this. I have normal skin. It can go dry, but it's very normal, neutral. You saw the array of colors, and the KVD really is not my shade, but all of those other shades actually work on my skin tone. Lancome talks about a perfect shade versus a preferred shade. The perfect shade would meld right into your skin. I don't think any of those are perfect on me. And the preferred, it gives you a little bit more sunshine to your face or a little bit more brightness. And both are in style, really. You can do either one. All of them are good. Okay, I am sure that I am going to scream. You will hear me go, ah, when another one of these is released. I always hold my list thinking there'll be another release around the corner. So we might have to do this again. Look, I am just telling you my thoughts and the thoughts I'm hearing from the community. But if you're still trying to figure out what to purchase and you have a question, of course, ask me below. And if you disagree with anything I said here, if your experience was different, absolutely let us all know down below. We're a community. I am not afraid of the dialogue, okay? In fact, I welcome it. So let me know your thoughts, please. And I will tell you, I do not dislike any of these. Maybe the Too Faced is my least favorite, but you guys hated the Saie. You hated the Saie. So what are you going to do? All right, so let me know down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or found it helpful. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel so we can keep growing. Come say a big hello over on TikTok and Instagram too. You can support this channel by giving super thanks or by becoming a member. But in any way that you are here, I'm just thrilled to have you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.